porch lamp on and like some sort of decoration that indicates like you're down to
Yeah,
Halloween.
but
But
like
like,
they'll come if you do. Like you'll get trick
yeah,
or
they'll come.
treaters. Man,
Yeah, I think we passed out like maybe 30 pieces of candy at this point. I don't know.
maybe I just need to get to a different neighborhood. Maybe my neighborhood's too ghetto and they just don't want to come here.
Kind of in apartments, condos, like yeah, they're
Man,
not gonna.
I need a
I never got
house.
trick or treaters when I lived in an apartment complex.
Well, then I'll
Maybe
just.
I get one or two, but it was kind of sad.
It's like the single mom smoking a
Yeah.
cigarette. Say
Yeah,
trick
no,
or
she's
treat!
like
Trick
she
or
could not
treat!
be bothered. Like she still had her slippers on. She's like, let's just go down the apartment complex.
Exactly. I want to get back to watching Downton Abbey.
That's
Oh,
pretty highbrow for the
for white
single
trash.
mom
You're
and
right.
slippers.
Yeah, sorry.
I, I would think they'd be like watching just like I don't even want to make fun of Love Island because it's more cerebral than what they probably are into. Like
Oh,
I don't know,
man.
keeping up with the Kardashians, but
Probably
whatever.
something like that. Some bullshit. Oh.
All right. Um,
We've been pre-showing a little bit here. I figure if we were going to discuss trick-or-treaters, that'd be good for the Halloween episode.
no, that's a good pre-show.
Yeah.
I got I mean there's always superheroes, right?
Hmm.
But I got one kid as Squirtle, and I really appreciated that. I thought that was a good costume.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I saw some decent ones today. I saw a family as like the Justice League. That was okay. I
There were
saw.
like four kids dressed up as like Shark, like the stupid ass shark costume from the Super
Oh,
Bowl 4 years
okay.
ago.
All right. That works. I've had a couple
Well,
just like women like randomly they'll wear like a black sweater and paint like a nose and whiskers so they're a cat. It's like okay, sure.
yeah, good try.
Good try.
Rachel, what were the college students dressed as? Oh, lab students. They're just wearing their white lab jackets.
Oh, that's whatever. Yeah, sure.
Oh, let me repost to the Tumblies.
Oh yeah, I should do that too. That'd be a good idea. You post and I'll reblog what you post.
You said live in 30, so let
Mhm.
me reblog and be okay. I gotta find a good gift for this. Should I share screen, let people in on the magic or something like that?
We can, yeah.
Um, I want to find another Venture Brothers one.
Yes.
Oh yeah, here we go. All right, we did it. Look out for it.
There we go. Excellent. Perfect for Halloween. Oh man.
Dude, I can I express how much I love the Venture Brothers.
It's a
I think it's like
fantastic show.
it is one of the best written and animated shows out there. Even like the pilot episode where it's like really chunky. It's
Hmm.
like still the characters are like the design looks so cool. Like the point of having an animated show is you can make it stylized, right? And then you
Hmm.
could do like cool stuff with like the you know uh Brock Sampson jumping through a window of a car and stuff like that. Like all we got a trick or treater and the dog's angry about it.
Oh. Well, it's probably a black trick or treater. That's why. So you gotta like be careful.
What was it?
Despite making up 13%
Oh, the
of all
same
trick or
kid came
treaters.
back getting greedy.
Yeah.
I saw how full our bowl of Reese's was.
Oh, same kids. Same kids get a bullet on the second pass. There's a social contract to this, man, and if you violate it, it's your life.
This dog. It's her first Halloween,
Hmm.
so she's not used to like interlopers.
Where are these people coming?
She did fine. We had a little like Halloween party. We played what is it called? Betrayal on the House on the Hill.
Ooh,
Is that what it's really called? Betrayal of the House on the Hill. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
It's basically like 80s slasher, the board game.
Okay.
Um, And so like you discover the board as you go, like you just like draw random house tiles. And
Oh,
there's an event for most of them, and it triggers a haunting, and then one player becomes like the villain of an 80s horror film, and
no,
everybody else has to like fight them or like solve the mystery. It's fun.
that
I
sounds
think
fun.
it's a good little game. It's got it's Wizards of the Coast, so it's got like D&D background rules. Like
Excellent.
when you go into combat, it's like suddenly becomes D&D.
Roll
But
for
like the
initiative.
characters are like like it's not like you actually build out like a complex character like in D&D. Like that's the
Okay.
hardest part, I think, for most entryism. You ever play D&D?
I've had a couple opportunities where we've started to put a game together and it just falls apart like through the planning stage. So like I've never actually
Uh,
gotten to play a game.
for real?
For real.
Oh, see,
Oh.
I had a big D&D phase over COVID, basically.
Oh. Well, that maybe that makes sense over COVID. I mean, what else are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
but I haven't played lately. I used to play it a lot.
Hmm.
Like weekly had like D&D nights. Um, it's fun when you get a good crew together. It can be fun,
Yep.
but then like you get like I don't know, just dynamics can change over time, and
Mm-hmm.
it becomes difficult. My brother is super into D&D to the point that he has like a bunch of tattoos for it, and like
Mm.
has written his own like new rule set, like game book he wants to publish
All right then.
and stuff. So what were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say the apples have not fallen far from that tree at all. Like you guys all kind of have the same tism going on.
Oh, sure, maybe. But he's like, but he's like a jacked, prison guard.
Oh,
And
we're that's
he's
that's
got
even better.
fucking, and he's got like fucking like, um, he's got like, D&D monster tattoos all over his arms and like rib cage and shit like
All
that.
right, that's
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 the thing. I
cool.
don't have any tattoos. Like he's got like dragons and fucking demons and balrogs and like, it's really cool
All
work.
right,
Uh I don't diss his tattoos because they're legitimately very cool. Good art
fair enough. Fair
on
enough.
all of them.
Could you imagine like the one prisoner is like, oh look at this nerd with his D&D tattoos, and like it's like the most jacked prison
Uh,
guard.
he has to wear his sleeves down for everything.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
I guess that's fair. Fucking shit.
and most of the time he's doing like court bailiff shit. So
Oh,
like he's
okay.
not he like has to be in front of the judge, which means like
Oh, no tattoos.
long sleeves and stuff.
Yeah, this is my character, the Judge Decapitator. It's one of my favorites. You have to cover that, man. Oh, come on.
There's a thing where like you in summertime you'll see duty cops like
Mhm.
wearing a short sleeve and like have an unbuttoned collar, right? But like a God, what was it? It's like TV cops, like TV bailiffs. They'll sometimes wear short sleeve shirts, but like in real court, in real jail, or whatever, it's
Almost always
always
long
they
sleeve.
always have a tie and stuff like that,
Oh, word. Okay.
and a jacket and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I mean, it's like the dress uniform.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna play the intro real quick. We're a couple minutes past, and there we go.
Watching,
Ooh,
if you're watching, drop a comment in the
yeah.
chat.
Speak
Tell
up.
us who you are.
Use your
Speak up.
voice. This is the most important election of our lives, and your voice needs to be heard. Man, 5 days, 5 more fucking days until all of these stupid fucking text messages stop. Oh, and hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Altar. We're just talking about various things, Halloween, the election, and of course, the end of the stupid fucking text messages that come once an hour now, it seems. Asking for
I
my.
don't get them.
You're
That's
lucky, man.
funny. I don't know if I blocked enough people or whatever. Um because like I was on my dad's phone plan for a long time.
Mm.
I used to always get these Montana like political polling stuff. Like nobody gets polled about political shit more than my dad. apparently, because they think I'm his Verizon account or whatever.
Oh,
And they're just like, we want to know what Montana voters think about X. And I'm like, I've never been asked about Wyoming shit. Like, what's going on? Or Colorado shit, even for that matter. Like, why does this one man get pulled more than anybody else? And then I just blocked enough of them at some point that I no longer get anything because they just don't know that I'm like where I am. Wyoming's not a swing state, like remotely.
Utah
I
isn't
think,
either, but like I just don't understand why I'm getting. Maybe it's because well, even if I still have a New York area code in my phone number, but New York is also not a
yeah.
swing state, so it's like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm not in Pennsylvania. I'm not in Wisconsin. Not in
Well,
Nevada.
what if they think you're a swing voter for your state
I'm not even a
because
voter, man.
yeah.
Like, you got me all fucked up, man. I ain't even casting a ballot, man.
No, I legitimately I don't think
Here's my vote. Here's what I think of the vote.
Alexei Sav
The most important.
says this is the most important Halloween of our
It is.
lives.
It definitely is.
This could this is a very important Halloween.
Mm-hmm. We need to save Halloween from Reese's Hitler because it's orange.
Reese's
Yeah,
or
Reese's Hitler.
Do you say Reese's?
Reese's. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, but I mean, I think there's like a genuine disagreement about pronunciation. I always thought it was Reese's.
It probably is. I might be saying it wrong.
But no, there's like the Reese's monkey.
The Reese's monkey. Oh, Reese's. Okay. Reese's peanut butter cups then. Reese's Hitler.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We
Nevertheless.
gotta get a scientist in on this shit.
Yeah,
Man.
it's like if only we had somebody with like some sort of like STEM degree here, like
Well, no, we need a linguist,
a linguist,
a linguologist.
a linguineologist.
He's got a rat hiding underneath his hat.
Exactly.
Yeah, so outside of Halloween shit, like we should wrap up on Halloween shit. Trump wore a costume.
Yeah, he was a
wore
garbage man.
Well, no, he wore two costumes, right? Because he was first a McDonald's worker with his apron,
that's true.
and then he wore a garbage truck vest,
Exactly.
his safety vest.
He's
Which
just
it's kind of funny to me that like apparently there's still towns and cities that don't have automated garbage trucks. Like all we have is drivers, and there's like an arm that picks up our garbage can and it dumps it into.
I guess it
bin.
depends where you are because like where I used to live in upstate New York, it's still like the older style of truck where it's two dudes who's chilling on the back and they get off and throw what's in your can into the back and they drive away like that. Like there's no arm.
I feel like that's just like a mob labor thing.
It probably is. Like it's unionized for
Just,
sure.
yeah, a couple, just like a way to have a bunch of jobs. Because there's definitely like a robot arm can do your job.
I know.
A very
I've seen
simple
it.
robot arm.
Yes, I've seen the arm. It's very simple.
I mean, it's just like maybe like New York in general only like discovered the trash bin like last
Recently.
year, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. Actually, that's actually why Mayor Eric Adams got exposed for what he did, because he was trying to be big garbage, and it was they didn't like the fact that he introduced the trash can to the city.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought this was last year. July 8th of 2024.
Oh wow! So New Yorkers have this year they discovered the trash can. Holy shit, man!
July 8th of 2024. New York City unveiled its latest weapon in the war against rats.
A trash can.
Bins.
Oh my god! This is
But
like
they had
India
this
discovering toilets. This is an amazing leap forward.
New York, in some respects, it's like this is what I say when like I go to the East Coast. Is like it's just a different fucking country than the
Yeah,
one
man.
I'm in.
Yeah, man.
National divorce, like 2K. I mean, like 200 years ago
Mm.
is when we tried to do it. And they wouldn't let us.
Speaking of major national movements, it doesn't look like there's going to be an Irish unification of 2024 at the going rate.
It is we're running out of time.
Yeah, man, that's kind of disappointing. We
We
got two
got we
months
got
left.
like 60 calendar days
Yeah,
to
that's
unify
and
Ireland.
there's a lot of holidays there, which means like you can't really do it on those days.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah.
But let's let me just Google Irish unification real quick, see if
Hmm.
there's any. I mean, honestly, Keir Starmer's government is such a shithole. Like, um, they they uh they could rat weird shit could happen
This is
the next two
possible.
months in the UK. Um, if they were to be th- think about this, like they have a non-written constitution in the
Hmm.
UK, and they have a king constitutional, or they have a monarch who can dissolve and recall parliament and stuff like that.
Hmm.
He could he could just like abdicate the throne of Ireland or something weird like that and just be like,
Watch like it'll be like some Soviet Union shit. It happens like December 29th.
No, there's I mean, there's the classic Lenin quote, right?
Mm.
Or I don't know if it's Lenin or Napoleon, or like it gets attributed to a bunch of people where it's like there's decades where only weeks happen and there's weeks where decades happen.
Yeah, I've heard that quote. I want to
I
say
I
that's
think
Napoleon.
yeah, I think we're in that timeline right now, right?
Yeah,
Like remember, like it wasn't even like a couple months ago that Joe Biden was still the nominee.
and very cognizant and
Trump
very
hadn't been shot yet.
yeah.
Um
Which time too? Like the first either
the,
time Trump hadn't been shot yet.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he only got shot at once,
No, fair.
right?
Yeah.
They the other guy was so incompetent they discovered him before he even could get a shot off. Which is like if that guy had gotten through, like it would have been too obvious that the Secret Service was in on it,
Yeah. Cause like that
you know?
clapped out SKS he had going on. Could you imagine if that's what did it? Like
With like the hose clamp
yeah, man.
tighteners and shit for the scope. Like he legitimately gave himself a handicap. Like they're not even getting people who like have like room temperature IQ to do this shit
Of course he gave
because it's like
himself a handicap. He was doing it on a golf course. But don't. I'll leave.
that is one of the best.
I'll go.
That is that is bad.
It's your show now, Max. Goodbye.
That was really good. Um, but like yeah, like the
uh,
hose. It was like electrical tape and like um
host clamps.
hose like clamps
Mm-hmm.
for a
Terrible.
scope mount, and it's like you legitimately like
Just as good.
would be so much better just using the iron sights.
Oh man.
No.
Uh, I could just try to imagine him shoot too in the bush, but he's using like dishwashing gloves as like tactical gloves. Something
He's got
stupid.
bright yellow gloves
Bright
on.
yellow gloves, like just in the bush.
He's like, I hate the way they make my hands smell afterwards, but
Yeah,
at least
man.
they keep it clean.
Yeah,
You know?
like the oil from the gun just comes right off. Like you just can't beat it.
Yeah, he never took the Cosmoline off. But like, how did he even get that gun? Because he
Well,
was a felon, right?
yeah, but
Like
that's
he,
probably why he had some clapped out piece of shit SKS. Like he probably bought it for cash for somewhere and just
yeah, but
got
you don't, you don't, you can buy parts off of fucking Amazon for an
yeah.
SKS that are better than that.
Yeah, but like I don't know,
He
dude.
had
It was
money to
probably
fly to Ukraine, but not get a nice scope mount.
well, I mean, when he was working for BlackRock under the table, he had money to fly to Ukraine, but outside of that, he was out of money. That's why he had the clapped out SKS too. It was like $400 on like some backroom deal, or it was like 200 at a hand job or something. I don't know. Like I don't think he was gonna give a shit. Also, what happens in the rest stop bathroom stays in the rest stop bathroom, as far as I'm concerned. So,
Okay, I think our trick or treater's gone.
oh,
What were they? Oh, it's Woody. He's our
Woody,
cowboy.
hell yeah!
Wait, oh, let me show you my dog's costume. Right. She doesn't like her hat.
Oh.
She's supposed to have a little sheriff's hat, and she's got a bandana.
Oh.
I'm just the deputy. She's the sheriff.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh, we got
More. Wow. I'm jealous.
yeah. So I don't want to say wrong things. Oh,
Oh. I feel like what I'm gonna have to do is I'm just gonna have to start driving around neighborhoods and like throwing candy at children from the window of my truck. Here you go, fuckers!
just buy some clapped out van and get a t-shirt gun, but shoot
Sir,
like
I'm not getting
king-size
into your.
candy bars
Oh,
at children.
yeah, that's fine, kitty. Stand still. Actually, no, I have a 37 millimeter launcher upstairs. I can make that work. Oh.
My God, this dog is so. Oh, he doesn't like it when they wear masks.
I don't want to be a cop.
Well, no, I mean, she's just doing her job, right?
Oh.
Like, if this dog had a gun,
No one would be safe.
honestly, all she needs to do is kneel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what were we on? We talked about
The election, I guess, wrapping up Halloween stuff, like just
so like election stuff. Okay, I see like maybe perhaps biased polling, but like stuff I generally trusted last election that was generally like accurate last election,
mhm.
saying that like Trump's like has a national lead at the moment, which
Yeah,
like if
which
a
is
Republican has a national lead, that means they're winning
yeah,
like all the swing states basically.
that's this is going to be very interesting to see. It's yeah, like Harris's campaign seems to be cratering at like the absolute wrong time. The popularity
Oh,
is just
they
going down.
honestly like there was so much talk about like when's Biden gonna quit, when's Biden gonna quit, and didn't it take like 2 or so weeks?
Yeah, just
How
about.
long from the debate to like
It
when he
was about
resigned the
2 weeks.
not
Yeah,
resigned but like abdicated the nomination.
forced to
Um,
abdicate. Yeah,
he got cooed or
he got
whatever.
cooed.
So like I think if they were really smart about it, they should have had if they were in the back room writing about it, they should have done it at the last minute, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because like Kamala's she swelled initially, right? Because nobody knew anything about her.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the longer she sits out, the staler she gets.
She started
It's so
giving
funny.
interviews, and they were just like, "Oh shit, she's oh."
Well, no, they had the right strategy at first, which was to give no interview.
Yeah, just go completely off of like hype and just memes like 20-year-old gay
Yeah,
interns were making.
yeah. No, they should have just
Kamala
they
is
just could have
brat.
coasted. They could have coasted for a little bit longer and let her get her shit together. But now she's like set in this like she's like a fucking like stuck DVD on like it keeps looping back to the same scene
Mm-hmm.
of just like well first of all I grew up in a middle class family to like every question she ever gets and it just like she's not got the staying power. If she could have like coasted for like 2 weeks on that like oh we got a new nominee
Mm-hmm.
energy, they might have been able to pull this off, but
Like
it's
they
like
should have
too
done it
obvious
last
now.
weekend. Last weekend they should have pulled the plug then and just held out, but no, they did it too early.
Well, even if they had like some fake primary process in like the convention, they're like, "Oh, we know the convention is going to happen and we're going to like do it so like there's like a fake open contested primary," but they knew they couldn't control it, I think was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are too many like actual Democrat activists at the convention because it's really just a hype party and they And they, it's a hype party for your own people. Like that's a good idea to like build enthusiasm and everything like that. Um, and they just like they could have made this a more legitimate like thing for her instead of just appointing her.
Hmm.
Like make her feel like she earned it, you know? Because that's the thing. There's no enthusiasm. All I ever see from like, I mean, I used to be in Boulder, Colorado, right? All I ever see from like these liberal people I had or progressive people I had as friends, all they have is they hate Trump. There's no enthusiasm for Kamala at this point.
Yeah.
Their get out the vote things are like, oh, Trump's gonna ban Plan B, and he's gonna watch you masturbate and stuff like that.
When I was in New York visiting my family, I noticed there really wasn't a whole lot of pro Harris signage. Like it was there, but there was just as much of it as there was like pro Trump signage, which I thought was very odd, being in like upstate New York, which is a very heavy
Well,
blue
upstate's
state.
well, no, upstate's
Like
almost a should be
some
a Republican
parts,
state.
some
Talk
parts
about
are.
secession. Everything north of Albany should just be its own state. That's
Honestly,
like
everything
Republican.
north of like Westchester should be its own state. Albany should be
Yeah.
nuked. Albany should be leveled. Just carpet bombed to glass until it's just like this big vitrified crater that we visit, like the
And
nuclear
then
test site.
salted so that the crops can't grow for 7 generations.
Exactly, yeah. And every person who lived in Albany who worked for the state government should be brought to the Hudson River and like sacrificed to the Hudson River and just sent downstream to New York City as a warning. We'll just open all the
Oh,
locks.
it's like an ancient pharaoh's sacrifice where you spill the blood into the river and it
Exactly.
fertilizes the soil. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. It'll fertilize the Hudson River and the harvest will be bountiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, honestly, it makes uh well did in real clear politics or real clear polling, whatever it is,
Hmm.
RCP, they just turned New Hampshire to a toss-up state.
I saw that. That's yeah, like it's interesting. I've been following Real Clear for pretty, like, not every day, but it's probably my main go to when I want to see something. And right now, like, mm, mm, yeah,
I mean, so there's a lot of early voting, and I think the thing the Republicans figured out from 2020 is that like the game is now early voting, ballot
yeah,
harvesting,
yeah, you got to get
Kansas
in
and
on it.
shit.
And from what I've
And
seen from like early reporting, it seems like there's been just as many Republican voters
no,
early voting.
the Republicans figured it out.
Good.
They're like, yeah, they were one cycle behind, 2 cycles behind, right? Because 2022 they also fucked up.
Hmm.
Um, but like they're like, oh, this is the game. We couldn't fight it in court, apparently. So this is the game now, and we got to adapt. I mean, thankfully they have, or I don't know if it's thankfully. It seems as though they have some roughly competent people who are giving them this kind of strategy, right? Like
Hmm.
if that like for too long political parties, this has always been the libertarian complaint, which is like the political parties in America are literally just WWE. It's a face and a heel.
Hmm.
And the Democrats are the face, they're the good guys, they're gonna give you the free shit, and the Republicans are the heel, and they're the ones who just want to take your shit. And the Republicans are no longer just like taking it, which is why Liz Cheney is fucking campaigning for Kamala Harris. And the most absurd thing is that Kamala Harris is actively campaigning with Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like I don't know if Liz Cheney even has a residence in Wyoming anymore or where it even is. Um but she lost her election, her primary,
Hmm.
2-1 votes. Okay? Like regular salt of the earth Republican voters in Wyoming, like a very conservative state, are not for Liz Cheney. She is like the devil to them right now.
I remember her losing her election. But another thing
Oh, it's
too is
beautiful.
they were getting mad at George W. Bush for not endorsing Harris. And it's just like, why do you want George W. Bush and Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney and all of these fucking neocon warhawks like endorsing your candidate? Oh, that's right. It's because you are neocons. You're all neocons.
Well, no, I like that it's like one side's consolidated, right? For the
Purely
most
evil.
part.
Like just
It's fine. Like all of you can just go to one side. Like Hillary Clinton and Liz Cheney have more in common than Donald Trump and Mitt Romney do. You know?
mm-hmm.
Like that's where it comes down to. And like the average Republican voter, I don't know what the stats are, honestly, but I'd like to know at some point if there was a breakdown of military recruits in the war on terror and party affiliation basically. Because like remember in 2008, like Ron Paul won or not won, but gained the most donations from military members and like had the biggest support among military members and stuff like that. But if you go back to their parents, right? Their parents are also conservatives, were voted for, H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan and shit like that. And so if you look at like who are the people who lost their sons in Iraq and Afghanistan, it was the George W. Bush voters,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then, some of them could, there was like maybe that, I think they just broke a little bit in 2012 for Mitt Romney, right? They couldn't do McCain, right?
Nope.
They couldn't push McCain across the finish line at
Nope.
all.
Nope.
And they were like, maybe we could kind of do Mitt Romney. And then when Trump did the South Carolina speech and he said George Bush lied us into war in South Carolina, and like that was the ticket. Like, I mean, since that moment, what is that? 8 years ago now,
I
which
want
is
to say,
crazy.
yeah.
8 years ago now, like that's when the Republicans started a civil war, and I think that civil war got won when Liz Cheney started campaigning with Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And it got won yet like a month ago, basically. Like that's how long this war took. But the Republican voters have finally ousted like the Iraq war neocons. Now they still have neocons in the party, right?
Yeah,
There's
of course.
there's a lot of Israeli neocons in the fucking Republican Party at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main thing that like a libertarian will point out and be like, yeah, what the fuck are we doing? I mean, if you go back to it, like, why were we in Iraq? I mean, the Iraq neocons versus the Israel neocons are like slightly different groups, but like the Iraq neocons are and the Iran neocons are only exist because of the Israel neocons. So it's like we haven't nipped the roots. We haven't pulled the roots out yet. We
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 could do
definitely.
an entirely other flowchart just tracing the path of neocons and how certain neocons are subsets of other neocons.
I mean, it goes back to fucking Trotsky.
Yeah.
But we could like what's happened in the Republican Party is like they have successfully like clipped the weed right at the base of the ground. There's still a root there, and that's concerning because it'll grow back.
Yeah, well,
As long as they have this Israel thing in the back of their heads, it's going to grow back, and they're going to find some shit excuse to do something with Iran or Iraq. Not Iraq again, but
Iran for sure. It would be at this thing.
Iran for sure is what they're focused on. I mean, we got our fucking navy stationed outside of Yemen right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many ships or whatever, but yeah, it's gonna be like Trump had that cred where he said like no new wars and stuff like that, which is like Biden maybe can say that too, but like what the you can't spend this amount of money and say we're not involved.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even if we're not putting boots on the ground, like we're still dropping bombs, we're launching missiles.
But that's the thing, we still have boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many, there are a bunch of US military trainers in Ukraine right now. Our special forces are in Israel right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody doubts that, just look up like hostage rescue, SEAL Team 6 and shit like that. Our special forces are fighting in Gaza and shit, and we're actively participating in the ground war, not just the air war, right?
Mhm.
Um, so, yeah, I whatever. We there's a glimmer of hope. Like the thing is that like the Democrats have taken the cut flowers of the neocons and put it in a vase and like are adding fertilizer to it right now.
Yeah.
And they're so fucking like obsessed with Russia and they hate Putin so much. And it's like what do you even care? Like there's no reason that you would physically care about this if it wasn't for some news reporter telling you that Russia bad,
Mm.
basically. You you don't actively care. If you yeah. Anyways, Death Chalada is asking a question. What
I
about
was gonna
the
say,
thing where the election results are being prematurely eject onto live
yeah.
TV in Philly? Um,
I saw that, so it was like they accidentally flashed on the bottom of people's TVs like a result of like Harris slightly winning, I think Pennsylvania over Trump. It was like 57 to 40, so I don't know, but like it came up real quick and people were like, "Oh, look, they've already got the results planned."
yeah, how did they cook the numbers up and shit like that?
Yeah, exactly. I
Well, what
guess.
about in did you see in Colorado that the Secretary of State leaked the passwords to the voting machines?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw too in like Oregon or Washington, I think, like people were burning ballot boxes the other day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All you got to do is drop a match into a ballot box casually,
Mm-hmm.
and you just
Oops.
destroyed like 100 or 200 votes.
Oops.
Here's a way to nullify the electoral college. You
Here's
can
how
make your
Bernie
vote
can
count for
still win.
200.
Oh man, casting fireball on the electoral process.
Yeah, here in Wyoming, my vote only counts for 3 normal people's votes, but if you just have a match
However,
and an early voting station,
okay, Death Chilada said it was Oregon. All right, that makes sense that it'd be in Oregon.
it's weird because it's a Democrat state.
I
Doesn't
mean,
make
depending on where it was, it might have been an area where there's more like right wing or Republican voters, and
or vice versa.
or
To
vice
be
versa. Who knows?
real,
Who knows?
like
Who fucking knows?
um, and it's just like Oregon's one of those states that's really fucked up on its political divide because geographically, like it shouldn't be one state, and Eastern Oregon, which is like high plains and almost desert,
Hmm.
is very politically aligned with like Idaho.
It is, yeah. It's tried to secede
Um,
from West Oregon.
yeah, no, there's a county by county like vote happening. People are getting the petitions in, and it's beautiful. I love it for Greater Idaho to exist,
Hmm.
and I fully support this movement to allow Eastern Oregon, everything east of the mountains can secede, and the little valley of hippie college towns can be their own little thing, and
Excellent.
then Idaho can have all the, you know, you know, it's just the thing is like, why do we have to live together? Why do we have
Exactly.
to impose our political systems on
Peaceful
each other?
national divorce is the answer.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, whenever I get to a liberal, it's like, oh, but like, you're gonna live in a state where children get shot in school shootings, and then they ban Plan B, and I'm like, first of all, I don't think that's gonna happen. But even if it did, it's like, wouldn't that be worth the trade of you living in a state where you have that guaranteed, and we can never impose that on you, right?
You'd
Don't you?
think.
Like goes both ways, but that's the thing. They have an imperial mindset. They have to impose universalist ideas on everyone, which like brings me back to New Hampshire. I'm like all the time thinking about how they're like, we want to do what the Zionists did to Palestine in New Hampshire to liberals. That's a real quote from the Free State Project on their
Excellent.
Twitter.
Excellent.
And I'm like, you know what? It's working.
Yeah.
It's I don't disagree with the results.
Southern
If you
New
can make a
Hampshire.
libertarian Israel, like
Go
maybe
for it.
it's worth it. I'll
Yeah,
do
man.
it.
I'll do it. Whatever. I'll come join the Libertarian Cube. We'll purge southern New Hampshire of all the leftoids.
But Wyoming was number 2 in the Free State Project
Ah,
voting uh uh ranking tier. And I'd say in many respects Wyoming's ahead of New Hampshire on a lot of different libertarian issues. Although um what happened recently, I was at the head shop and like rolled or cannabis CBD flower is no longer a thing in Wyoming. It used
hmm,
to be, but we still have CBD like cigarettes, and I
interesting.
don't get it. I'm like, why is one good and one's not good under the state's purview or something like that? It doesn't make sense that we have certain
It's
types.
so silly at this point in time. It's just at this point, it's like all of these states have legalized it and they're fine, and there's still just these holdout states that are just no, we're not gonna do it. We're either like Utah has medical, but it's like it's
I
more
mean,
yeah.
I think the thing is that like almost nowhere has legal cannabis combined with like conservative government. Almost nowhere. I'm trying to think of like maybe New Hampshire's ahead of on that, where they have
Probably.
yeah, they have legal cannabis and they have a Republican governor. And so there's not like just homeless camps everywhere. That's the thing about Colorado is that like you get like 3 Democrat governors in a row and then you import more Venezuelans than people emigrate from like all the other states in the US combined into Colorado. And all of a sudden you have like homeless camps and like people shuffling around the street corners and looks really bad and it's obviously like doesn't feel great. And then there's prison gangs taking over apartment complexes and extorting people and shit like that. And you're like, holy shit, like this all started when they legalized weed. And you're like, I
Wait a
don't
minute.
think
I
like
don't
that
think
was
that's
necessarily the thing.
that was not it. But like I was gonna say, Salt Lake City also has a pretty decent amount of like homeless people that hang out there. But again, weed's not
Any
legal
big
here.
city
Yeah,
kind of does at this
especially
point.
like in the West. Like the warmer it is, especially in the less of a harsh winter you have.
Well, no, that's why California has it so bad. Honestly, like California's nice. Um, And like, there's a lot of conservative town. I mean, California's a big fucking state. It's got what 30 million people in it,
Hmm.
and like, I have a lot of family in California, and they're mostly conservative for the large part, and they live
Northern
in
California
conservative
is
cities.
very conservative.
Yeah, north of the Bay.
North of the Bay.
But people in the Valley or the Eastern Sierra would still be north of LA and shit like that. It's all north. It's all north if you're north of LA,
Mm.
basically. But the yeah, people in you know Orange County and Kern County and the Eastern Sierra are not fucking die in the wool progressive Democrats and shit like that. They're like the average Eastern Oregonian, or they're like the average Nevada voter, or they're like the average Arizona voter or something like that.
Hmm.
And they're not like stoked. There's a bunch of like homeless people camping out on the streets and stuff like that. They generally elect mayors who don't tolerate that shit. It's mostly in like insane cities like San Francisco and LA that stuff mostly happens.
That's fair.
Like I mean, like you think about like how shitty our different places are. Like you go to New York even,
Hmm.
right? And you saw Trump signs in
Yeah,
upstate New York. It's like it's not New York City is not New York.
correct.
And I remember like we went to like Watkins Glen and like the fucking um there was Trump shit all over the place and like people are into race cars and there's a bunch of wineries and shit like that. And
Hmm.
I don't know, I was like, oh, this is not what I was expecting when I went to New York. Still a very different culture than my own, but like
It
yeah,
is, but yeah, like it's you said it before, like you could say north of Albany, but I would say like north of Westchester, which is very south of the state, could all be an entirely different state. Like it was supposed to be, the idea was New Amsterdam, and then New York City would be like its own entity that would be New York State or whatever.
Bring back city states.
Bring back city states, man. City states were the shit.
I like honestly, I don't know how like if we give them like special status under um it, it let's Holy Roman Empireify the United States, right?
Hmm.
Like we give like free city status to New York and LA and San Francisco and Denver and shit like that. And it's just like, yeah, we recognize that we're going to a free city. Or, we're going to you're under our protection as the United States, right? Because obviously it'd be like too complicated to figure out like your trade customs and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're a free city. You got your own laws. I get it. Whatever. You pay us a nominal fee for national defense. But yeah, you're a free city. That's fine.
Hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice?
I mean, what free cities are there today?
I don't know if there really are any. Like Hong Kong would have been one I
San
would have thought
Marino?
of. San Marino, okay, but like I know Hong Kong's not anymore.
No,
Um,
Hong Kong got annexed by
hmm
China. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Um, I would I would say like Luxembourg's a little bit too big,
Mm.
but obviously Liechtenstein's like basically a city state, but it's more like a village state.
Kind
It's like
of, yeah. Oh, Vatican City, maybe
the
technically.
Vatican's yeah, Monaco.
Monaco, yeah.
Um, what's the one in the Pyrenees right between Andorra, Andorra.
Yep.
Uh, and there's nothing in Americas though. That's the problem.
Unfortunately, yeah. We don't
We
have.
don't have like a history of free cities in the U.S. or in the Americas. Period. Um, but like Caribbean islands are like small enough to be like basically a city state in
Mhm.
their respects and stuff
Puerto
like that.
Rico is a U.S. territory. That's kind of like a city state.
No, we need to Puerto Rico-fy New York City and
Yeah.
L.A.
Hmm.
Just turn them into a territory. Like, okay, yeah, like sure, we'll offer you like or we'll offer you international protection
We
and
should
trade
definitely
customs.
build a wall around them when we do this, though.
Yes, like Julius Caesar siege of Elysia style.
Exactly.
Yes, we
Yes.
we built a wall to keep them in.
And then a
Siege of
second
New
wall
York,
to defend the wall,
or
keeping them in.
what's the what is it? Escape from New York. Um, I'm just trying to find okay, here's a Wikipedia article.
Mm.
So Danzig obviously doesn't exist anymore as a free city. Um, Guillaume doesn't exist as a free city. Technically, Jerusalem is a free city because it's
Hmm.
shared sovereignty between Israel and Palestine. It's
Interesting.
international. Um, but obviously, like Israel controls it,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Free city,
yeah.
in parentheses.
So okay, Vatican, Monaco, Singapore. Singapore is like
Singapore.
actually
Duh.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that shit.
Yeah. So Luxembourg's a little big. Djibouti's a little big.
Djibouti.
Am I pronouncing it correctly?
No, you're pronouncing it correctly. I just Djibouti is just a funny name. That's just what else can you say?
Qatar, Brunei. Yeah, Brunei is a good example. Kuwait is basically a city state.
Hmm.
Bahrain and Malta. Malta's a great example actually.
Malta.
Um, microstates, San Marino. Lacks San Marino doesn't even have like a big city center, but it's like still its own sovereign country. I love
Yeah,
San
they're just
Marino.
fuck off. Like we don't care.
We never became Spain. It's fine. It's like, or we became Italy. We're fine.
We're fine.
But speaking of Spain, Ceuta and Melilla are autonomous cities. They're both on the continent of Africa, but they're sovereign Spain. They're sovereign Spanish territory.
There
They're on.
was a Spanish
Yeah.
territory, if I remember correctly, too, that's seceded from Spain for like 30 seconds.
Oh, really?
Do you? This was like in the past couple of years. I think there was some city or some territory that seceded from Spain, and as soon as the vote got passed, it was like, "Oh, you violated federal law," So you're under arrest for like secession or something. Hang on, let me Spanish
Here, let me
canon.
keep going through this list here. China recognizes, I mean, Macau. Remember, Macau has its own Olympic team and
Oh,
everything like that. They haven't been annexed fully by the PRC and stuff like that. In France, Paris is its own department. Like Paris, like national law doesn't apply in Paris to the
well,
same degree. It's
that
like
makes
they have their
sense.
own. Yeah. Um, Bucharest is a municipality with equal status to counties. Gibraltar is a uh, overseas territory that's like self-governing for the UK, right? So that's
Mm.
basically a city state. Buenos Aires, Vienna, Brussels, Bremen, Berlin, and Hamburg, Mexico City, Moscow, and St. Petersburg, and Baselstadt. Um, Proposed city states, um, urban secession. I'm very interested in the Wikipedia article on urban secession. This
Ooh, that
sounds
sounds
great.
fun.
Sovereign state of Bektashi Order is an Albanian capital of Triana, which would establish the approved Albanian parliament. Okay, interesting.
Sure.
London has also had a city-state separatist movement, which
Hmm.
would be great for the United Kingdom
That would be amazing.
if people in London could not vote in
Yeah,
parliament
that'd
any
be
longer.
amazing.
Um, yeah, again, they would build a wall. Isn't 28 Years Later coming out? Are
It
you
is.
interested in?
I am.
Have you saw the first one, right?
I've seen days and weeks. Yes,
I haven't seen Weeks.
weeks
Was it good?
is. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I remember when 28 Days Later came out, it was like, oh, this is the best zombie movie that ever
Yeah,
come
man.
out.
Oh my God, fast zombies. Oh my shit. Oh,
Yeah. Um. So Beijing, Taishan, Hebei.
is there a smoke
Oh,
detector going off in the background of your apartment, sir?
that might have been a guinea pig
Okay,
squealing.
that's fair.
Yeah.
It's a guinea pig, I
Uh.
swear. Beep.
Or the timer for the oven went off. I don't
Oh.
know. So I'm looking for okay. I mean DC, right? Like doesn't have to deal with state bullshit, right?
Right. Sorry, I just remembered we had that.
We should just like make it a federal territory, self-governing federal territory for New York. We already have the legal framework to do this, right? Like we can it could happen tomorrow. Every every conservative governor of a state with a strong liberal city should be proposing this immediately.
Texas
Um,
could benefit from this. They could make all of their liberal states, city states,
yeah.
separate.
Um, Proposals have been made for New York City to secede from New York State. Um, Consolidated city counties like Philadelphia, San Francisco, or St. Louis. Georgia generally. Oh, there was the Stockbridge, Georgia, decided if they wanted to secede from Atlanta. Remember, they were like, "Why are we paying all these fucking property and income taxes just to have failing schools and bad police and everything like
Yeah,
that?"
man.
And then everybody criticized them because they're like, "Wait, aren't you guys like 95% white in that neighborhood?" And they're
Hmm.
like, "No, that's
Yeah,
not what this is about."
that's. I mean,
Anyway,
that's true, but that's not what this is about. But yeah, man. Like what does it matter?
so, um, dude, I have been recently. Have you ever caught yourself browsing, like Google Maps or whatever, looking at uninhabited islands in the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean?
Sometimes, admittedly, yes, I do
Sometimes
that. Yes,
you need to increase that to like a maybe every other day.
really.
You're gonna
Why?
look at it's it's psychologically healing
Hmm.
to know that there's a place on Earth
That man has
that
not touched.
there, not only is there a place, there's many multiple places on Earth that humans don't exist right now.
Hmm.
You could go there
Hmm.
if you had a good boat. If
Hmm.
you could master sailing, which like as a competent person, I think you can. Individual humans
As a
sailed
white
across
man.
the entire Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
There was okay. Stall or fill for me for a second because I have to show you this.
No,
Or
I
like I
was
have
gonna
to.
say, like, as a white man, I should be able to pick up sailing pretty easily. That's how we conquered the new world. We're boat people. Children of Men is an excellent documentary. Yes, it is excellent. It's very good. And hopefully will not be a documentary, but I guess we'll see.
Okay. Let me share screen here. All right, so can you see it?
Yeah, the
Is it
Kon-Tiki expedition.
is this on the is this on the thing?
Yes.
Okay. So 1947, a journey to raft across the Pacific Ocean to Polynesian islands led by Norwegian explorer Thor Heyerdahl. The raft was named Kon-Tiki after the Ethan god Viracocha, from which Kon-Tiki was said to be an old name. Herndal and a small team went to Peru to help with dockyard facilities, constructed a raft of balsa logs and other native
Oh my
materials in
god.
an indigenous style, recorded by illustrations by the conquistadors. On they and 5 companions sailed on the raft for 101 days over 4,300 miles
Mm.
across the Pacific Ocean before smashing into a reef at Rayora, Tamaulipas, on August 7th, 47. The crew made successful landfall and all returned safely. Um, they the Hayendal and believed that the sun worshipping blonde, red-haired, blue-eyed Caucasian people who were called the Katiki people from South America could reach Polynesia during pre-Columbian times by drifting with the wind directions. His aim in mounting the Kon-Tiki and expeditions was to show, but not only be using materials and technologies available to those at the time, that there was no technical reason to prevent them from having done so, although the expedition carried some modern equipment such as radio watches, chart sextants, and medieval
Mhm.
metal knives, argued that they were incidental to the purpose of proving that the Ralph itself could make the journey. His hypothesis was that the white race reached Polynesia before the Polynesian people is rejected by research, even before the expedition. But if you go back, so here, let me stop sharing, and I'm going to find a new article.
Okay.
Um,
This is great. This is like Hyperborea.
um, wait, so here, stall while I'm talking about this.
Oh,
What is
stop.
Hyperborea?
Hyperborea is just like these ancient white settlers that went out and found all these places before these dirty brown people got a hold of it. Oops, did I say that out loud? Here we go.
That's not quite it, but
I mean, that's basically it. No, I'm kidding.
uh,
Should I remind you what the title of this episode almost was, sir?
you got a point. You got a point. Um, no, there was a. Okay, I'm trying to find, because we talk about this in astronomy often, is the Polynesian wayfinding, um, uh, where they had these stories about how like the native Hawaiian and Tahitian and New Zealand and every Aotearoa and stuff like that. All those native islanders had these stories about, like, yeah, we use that star and we use it as our guide stars for navigating and stuff like that. Um and like it was literally regarded as like superstition by like Western anthropologists when they met these people. And it took astronomers being like, no, they're like legit talking about like how to navigate using celestial navigation. It's the same thing the Vikings did, to find Iceland and Greenland and Vinland, which is North America.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck, Columbus Day, because like Leif Erikson was the first one to land in North America. Columbus only landed in the Caribbean. He never even made landfall on. God, I'm trying to find. There's like this guy named like Barney. Um, he he's got like this amazing like Norwegian name, and he sailed from Tahiti. That's the one I need to look up. Raft Tahiti to Hawaii. Um, God, they're only showing me the Kon-Tiki expedition, but that's not the one I'm talking about. There's like a real there's a second expedition that was done by this guy in the 70s, not
Hmm.
in 47. God, okay. I'm so distracted on this. I'm like, whatever.
That's totally fine.
Um, what that's just what the British Isles are like, says Alexi.
Yeah.
Also, Children of Men is an excellent documentary. Have you watched that recently?
I have not watched it recently, but I've watched it a few times. It's an excellent movie.
When um when King Crimson comes on,
Hmm.
and like if I don't know if it's like the third or fourth scene, but like there's the whole setup, and I feel like that's like the prologue to the story, and then King Crimson comes on, and I'm like, that song turned me on to King Crimson because I was like, this is like one of the coolest songs I've ever heard.
Mm.
In the Court of the Crimson King, and they that's when like the movie just like accelerates up. It's so cool. Even though like the opening scene is like a cafe terrorist bombing,
Something,
it's like
yeah.
so intense. Um, yeah, it's a great film.
It's a
It's a great
fantastic
film.
film.
Uh, any comments from chat? We've got a couple people watching live right now before
Mhm.
we wrap up, maybe
I
on our
would say,
Halloween
like,
night.
our closing thoughts. I mean, I like thoughts on the election, I guess, maybe what we think's going to happen. I think Trump might actually have a chance, barring any last minute, like, thousands of ballot dumps in the middle of the night driving something a certain way.
You know what weirds me out is that like people on the other side are like equally as confident that Kamala
Hmm.
should pull it off, or like there's like CNN polls or MSNBC polls about oh like Kamala's got like a narrow lead,
Mm.
but they always like they qualify it, right? It's like it's a narrow lead, stuff like that.
Hmm.
So
It's interesting.
they
I
know it's
haven't
close.
seen I haven't seen a race this close in a while.
It is like, why is it even close? You
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
if you
Interesting.
just removed if you just removed like the base like personalities from like Trump, like if he had just run as a Democrat or something like that,
He'd win.
you know what his numbers be right now. But there's too much money in like the policies that they've got, right? Like
Hmm.
they need the cheap labor, they need the high taxes, they need the military industrial complex. Like that's where it comes down to. Like if he ran as a Democrat, um they'd obviously like still do the exact same shit. They'd murder him just like they did with JFK.
Hmm.
So
I
shows
mean,
you.
maybe they've tried a few times and failed, or maybe it was, I don't know, maybe they were warnings, or maybe they were staged attempts. Who knows?
See, the stage thing doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't
You
either
can't
because, like,
stage shooting somebody through the ear at
yeah,
150
yeah,
yards
like the second one, maybe, but the first one, no, absolutely not. That was just some pissed off kid.
just a pissed off kid who happened to have like Fed contacts
Yeah,
and,
just happened to be on the FBI's watch list. It happens.
and who happened to make an IED in his car that
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah, it just happens. You just boys will be boys, and sometimes they just do these things.
Just imagine if you had like some actual terrorist who had an IQ above 100.
That'd be dangerous, but no, it's
That's
always
the
the
thing about
retards. It's always the retards.
like, like TSA could not catch these people. Like like a Secret Service can't catch these people. Even if it was completely like a legitimate assassination, like the Secret Service is too incompetent for this shit.
Hmm.
They're supposed to be the most competent people at personal protection in the world. Um, if you're selecting for like special forces operatives and stuff, but I guess they're all led by like the PepsiCo um gal,
Mm.
right, who resigned, thankfully. Or maybe not thankfully, because like it would have been funnier if like the PepsiCo corporate security person had been able to like retain their job through two Trump assassination attempts.
They're just still in there, just like, yeah, listen, like, I got one more strike left. We're gonna see how it pans out. Like, I'm feeling pretty confident.
Um, I mean, we could do an election night special. I mean, what are you up to?
I should actually be around. Like, I should be back from my road trip at that point. I don't know if I'll be back in time for a show, but
Oh, okay.
probably actually I should. If
See, okay, I want to make a prediction is that we still won't know the night of the election.
I could see that happening for sure.
I think there's going to be shenanigans.
I do too.
By the way, print, screen, copy paste a folder of like an election shenanigans on your PC now,
Yes.
right?
Everybody
Start
do this. Start getting ready to screenshot election shenanigans. Do not let them memory hold anything.
yeah, in your area specifically. Like you want
Yes.
to be the expert in your area where it's just like, oh yeah, that was weird. Like
That's
why
very
did they
weird.
put up those boards?
Hmm.
And why did they put up those white signs on
Yeah.
top of the screen windows? Why
So
why
weird.
did those
Why?
election counts suddenly jump by 2000 or whatever?
Wow.
Like
Why
what?
did this pipe just burst in the middle of the night in this brand new municipal building? That's so odd. Like, okay, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
Just shit like that.
The internet archive is not up right now. You need to
Ah,
literally
be the
you need
archive.
to individually screenshot all this shit. We are history right now.
We are.
The next week, a decade will occur.
It will. It will. It definitely will.
Shit, even fucking Trump looked pretty good on the Joe Rogan podcast, but he's still old and he eats a lot of McDonald's. So like he could die in his fucking sleep any day, you know?
Yeah.
And will his supporters accept that? Or will they call it like poisoning and assassination or something
Oh,
like that?
they're gonna have like Q is gonna go wild with that shit. Patriots, stay calm. The king has been struck down. Stand by for further instructions. uh,
Stand down and stand by.
stand down and stand by. And I think that's gonna do it for this one. Maybe you'll still get some more trick or treaters, but I think at this point I'm out.
Yeah, I think they're done.
Yeah.
It's really cold where we are. We got a
Yeah,
couple
it's
inches
like
of
it's like
snow.
44 here, so yeah, it's pretty chilly.
Oh, it's 30s right now.
Damn.
Yeah, we got some snow. There's still snow on the ground.
Oh.
It didn't stick to like the roads, but it's cold out.
No, no. Well, guess it's gonna be a long winter. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have a very fun and entertaining and safe and spooky Halloween. And we hope that no shenanigans actually harm you or anyone you love on election day. But again, if weird things do happen, be sure to take screenshots and make a folder now and put that shit aside because I'm sure we'll be talking out in the future. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of the election outcome, voting is gay, taxation is theft. Have a good night.